What does the future hold for your children? Will they be better off than you are? Here's how some people answered that question.
Of course, it's going to be better, but it takes people to work together to do that, though.
I don't want to be the one to point the finger and say gloom and doom, but, I think we all got to just pitch in and do our part.
I hope by time, in a couple of years, things will turn around and be on the upside. I know things got to get worse and stabilize and get better.
When they get up to my age, I think that it will be much better, much better. So we're just going through tough times right now.
That's just some of our responses, some of our unscientific polling that we did on camera there. But a new poll finds some very interesting results. An economic mobility project poll suggests that 65% of African Americans think their children have bright futures. That's compared with 51% of Hispanics and just 34% of whites. So, interesting findings. We wanted to find out what was behind this. I asked John Hope Bryant of Operation Hope why the African American community has so much more optimism.
It's really funny to me, actually. It's ironic. We've been doing so much with so little for so long. We feel like we can almost do anything with nothing. And when you redefine success as going from failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm, and because you didn't have money, you had to find value in other things like your family, spirituality, your relationships with other people, with God, it gives you an enormous resiliency. And then your expectation levels change. And then when something like this happens, I was talking to Andrew Young, one of my mentor, and he was saying that he talked to somebody who worked for him. How you doing? He said, oh, look, man, I was poor before this economically. I may be poor after this, but I'm happy. And I think that really summarizes the black experience. And so I think that what people are saying is it will probably get worse, but I'm used to worse. Mm-hmm. But what I'm sure of is that it will get better, rainbows after storms. And when it does for my children, they'll be educated. For the first time, if they're a professional, if they're an athlete, I'm not an athlete, you don't have to be an athlete. If you're a teacher, a doctor, a lawyer, a policeman, a fireman, you'll be able to own a home in a major city for the first time in that family's generation. That's amazing, mm-hmm. and that's wonderful. Mm-hmm. And so we will all rise together. This is not so much, I think, a recession as an economic hard reboot.
So then I have to ask you then why, usually with the questions that were asked in this survey, white Americans were at the bottom. They were less optimistic about certain things. Hispanics were somewhere in between African Americans and whites. What is that?
Because black folks shout more at church. I mean, we come from a place that is really spiritual at its base. Africa, it's spiritual at its base.
And that's optimism, that's faith.
Well, it is easier to get to optimism through your faith mm-hmm. than it is through a bank account balance. If your bank account balance goes down, and that's where you've been putting, if you're a left brain thinker, you're completely analytical, and the analytics go into the toilet, you're not going to be a very happy camper for very long. But if you are a right brain thinker, if you are contextual, if you understand the value of this experience and this conversation and what that means and friendship and having chicken dinners on Friday nights and just normal experiences, going to church on Sunday morning and how that enriches your life, I think it makes you more resilient when things go bad, but it also I think gives you a greater appreciation for the totality of life. This is one of the rare experiences where Black America might be actually a teacher, if you will, for, I think, proper context of what's really important.